Well, well, well. Hello, Callie. We meet again.
Why, hi, Kate.
Well, all right. Oh, look, we have an audience too. Hi, audience.
Hi, audience.
Wow,
Cue the clap.
it's a full house tonight. Well, this is well, Callie, I hope you're ready for a wild ride because this is
I
our
am.
first episode of Fans of Fiction, the podcast that we've been talking about starting for like over a year now.
It has been, and it has finally come to fruition. I'm Cal. This is Kate, and this is Fans of Fiction.
Boo 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 boo. We should come up with a jingle.
I
You're
think we should.
musical.
I'm not sure it should be boop 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 boop.
For those of you who don't know, Callie is super hashtag gifted, talented, amazing with and creative with her music and beautiful talent in that regard. And I
Very
play
low bar has
ukulele.
been set.
So
There we go. Perfect team.
absolutely.
I tried so many instruments. Yes. But for another time, the journey of middle school, high school,
Oh,
and community theater bands, and we just stick with boo 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 boo.
boo, 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 boo. Well, Callie, I was thinking for our first episode, we could talk a little bit about, how we know each other, and how this podcast came to be. So, do you want to answer the age-old question? How did you and I meet? How do we know each other? Who are you?
I feel like you're asking me because you don't remember.
I do.
Okay. So I believe, if my memory loss has not kicked in at 24, that we met on the playground in intermediate school playing Foursquare.
I forgot about Foursquare.
Foursquare. For those who don't know, in the Midwest, when you are in intermediate and middle school, Foursquare is like the sportiest sport for the non-sports kids.
Mm-hmm,
It's hardcore.
Yeah, and then
It's like the only time in gym class you sweat.
Oh yeah. And then also, if you recall, we also teamed up in sports again the following year in tennis.
In tennis. Yeah, I do recall tennis. We are not the sportiest of sports people, though, with all respect to the sports world. That just is not where we ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Genetically, hobbies,
Mentally.
work. Yeah, no, mentally, definitely not. But we do have we did get our high school started off with the hardcore, very American sport of tennis. Hey, it is played all the time if you hop over the pond into England, but over here it's like the sport for the least buff kids in high school.
Yeah. And then they made us run miles all the time. Like, I'm like, why? We're not running
They made us
across
do
a football
W's.
field.
I remember
W's?
this was like, we had a psychology teacher teach our tennis, and it was
Oh.
very fascinating because if someone showed up late, we all would get punished, and it made me
Yeah.
hate the psychology of like group punishment.
It made me hate my teammates.
I was like, this is supposed to make us a team. This is supposed to make us a unit.
Yeah, and instead it just turned into public shaming, and I'm just like,
It did.
but we had a good childhood, not to, but no, actually, Callie, I would love to perhaps in another episode touch on more tennis stories because boy, do we have them. The following question, I figured we would tell our audience, and I figured I could touch on this a little bit, but where the idea for this fabulous Fans of Fiction came from. It was an absolute joke. It was, I know, super cold winter time. I was in Texas at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And during like a freaking blizzard. So I was mentally going through it. I left the
It
Midwest.
was that far back.
It was.
It
It's
was.
a long time. It's been a year. We've been talking about this for a year. And when I say like we've been talking about this for a year, I don't mean we've been prepping for this for a year. We've just been talking about it and not doing
We're like,
anything
yeah, we
about
should
it.
do it. We should do it every month. It's like, the 12 months of procrastination.
It's true. But here we are. That's what matters. And I was like, I think we can make this happen. I think we're mildly entertaining. We both are aware of fan fiction, and there's so much out there to be explored, and I figured we could just go ahead and give it a try, give it a shot, give it a bat.
shot.
An overhand, a tennis
As
overhand.
you can tell, we only played tennis for 1 year.
My mom forced me to play for 2.
But I would like to touch on that the appreciation of fiction and the fans of fiction dates back even before the days of tennis. It dates back to middle school Kate. And
stop.
it dates back to a hobby that was kept secret for a long time, but eventually, as all hobbies do with best friends, they come out. There it is. And I learned what fan fiction was. And as we got nerdier and enjoyed all of the arts that the nerd world has to bring, eventually we thought, hey, why not use our amazing skills or free time and pay some homage to these writers, where now content creator amazing badass Kate had gotten your start.
Oh my God, stop. Thank you. So, Callie, we know the answer, and and also from what you alluded, yes, I read fan fiction, but Callie, do you really read fan fiction, or have you read it before?
This is like the Supernatural podcast where they bring in a friend who has a vague understanding of supernatural concepts and then gives commentary from a slightly outside perspective. I have dabbled in the reading of fanfic, but I am no expert. I am not sure I am even an intermediate skill level, but the enjoyment and the appreciation is high.
I love it. And you know what? That's the kind of energy we want coming into this show. So well done, sport. I really think that we're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it.
I do my best.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, as you know, we had a brief discussion of this like literally last week before we're like, screw it, we're doing it today. But as you know, I did pick today's fan fiction. However,
whammy for ya.
Whammy. However,
Whammy.
you did pick the genre. Would you like to share what genre you chose?
I not only fell under the very broad genre of anime, but specifically My Hero Academia.
Boo 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 boo.
Boo, 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 boo. Yes, I love it. I love. I was obsessed about a month ago, was watching it like crazy, and now I've taken a small hiatus, but I thought it would be fun to go back to the school days where we all, wish we had, which was having superpowers.
Hell yeah.
Or quirks.
Quirks, that's right. I have watched My Hero Academia, the first season. However, I don't remember any of it because it's been so long. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure I can just like jump back in and figure it out from there, or use what is it we learned in 8th grade? Like inference, like reading between the lines, inferring. Yeah.
Our literary masterful post-college skills of inference.
We were like, also, Kelly, we were both in the advanced English classes, right? Like,
we were.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where I got my college credit started, advanced English.
Me too. I tested out of all English, and here we are reading fan fiction.
Here we are reading fan fiction.
Happy to be here.
We are happy to be here. And so Kate has picked out a pretty fun fanfic in this world of My Hero, and I will let you introduce it.
Thank you so much for that lovely segue. better wear a helmet with that kind of segue. Today's today's pick.
I really imagine you have one that looks just like my middle school helmet.
Your middle school helmet was pretty.
Well, my mom got it on a garage sale, so I had a plain white helmet with the little cap out front.
White.
White. It was very it was very mall cop.
It was mall cop. But hey, we gotta protect the noggin. So I really just quickly slap something together from Archive of Our Own, and I have to do a mini rant, but we are an Archive of Our Own house, as in like in this house we read Archive of Our Own. None of that fanfiction.net, none of that Wattpad.
Ooh, she's slamming.
This is Archive of Our Own. Literary pieces are born from this. I don't give a rat's ass about Wattpad. I can't do it. I know so many people
you're
are
really
like
setting up a high standard of reading and voice acting when you butcher the word literary. Mount Vesuvius.
Mount Vesuvius. So, that's so like not a great joke to have. Okay. Also, okay. All right. Fine. Before we move on, back in the day, as in the day that was a long time ago, Vesuvius is actually pronounced Woosuvius. And so when I found that out, there was a caption that was like, "Ooh, Mount Vesuvius is a wolfing."
No. Oh. That poor
God.
volcano.
I am so sorry. That is such a tragedy that happened in history. Yeah. Yes. So this fic though, you can put in some really incredible filters on Archive of Our Own, and with I am proud to introduce with 60 chapters, 21,000 comments, 70,000 kudoses, and 16,000 bookmarks. I introduced Yesterday Upon the Stair by Pit Viper of Doom. We will make sure to link this in the comments, so a huge shout out to the writer. Again, I say a huge shout out when we haven't even read yet, but also Callie and I discussed we will only be reading one of the chapters because holy shit.
We didn't think you'd want to sit here like an audiobook through 60 chapters. Maybe you do. But to start off, we're already recording this in the evening, and we thought maybe we should get sleep at some point tonight.
Right.
And I'd also like to point out, we have not practiced this. We picked out one, but this is going to be a first time, fresh off the bat, reading of Yesterday Upon the Stair.
Thank you. And the summary is as follows. Also, Callie, make sure to let me know if I'm pronouncing anything wrong, because, it's been a hot second since I read it, and also it's your show that you picked.
Excuse me.
You picked a Japanese fanfic. You did, not me.
I did. Ah, man. I do love it, but we apologize up front if we butcher any names. We're going to do our best. We are.
All right.
Please be patient if we do.
I think of it as just charming, Oh, God. Midoriya Izuku has always been written off as weird. As if it's not bad enough to be quirkless weakling, he had to be weird quirkless weakling on top of it. But truthfully, the weird part is the only part that's accurate. He's determined not to be a weakling, and in his spite of what says on paper, he's not actually quirkless. Even before the meeting with All Might and taking on the power of the One for All, Izuku isn't quirkless. Not that anyone would believe him.
The story now has TV tropes page. Notes. Translation into Italiano available. You know what? I'm going to skip the translations because I will not be translating this into Italian or French. All right, moving forward
Awesome. Oh,
to.
perfect. Oh, wait, Callie. Oh, okay, good. I just realized that I wasn't sure if I checked the rating. So, like, if we were going to be jumping into an explicit fic, I didn't know.
She didn't
Well,
look.
I checked.
You didn't look.
No, I
You
did.
were
I
like,
did.
this looks great. Let's just go for it.
Oh my.
70,000 fans out there.
Well, I mean,
What's
I'm
worth
sure they want to
repeating?
hear it. I really do think so. Um, all right, Callie. So, how would you like to split it up? Do we want to do every other paragraph? Do we want to do characters? What do you think?
Well, this particular one has a lot of dialogue, so I think it looks like it's just two characters who are talking. So we could split that up by by character or by,
Okay.
every other line when we get there
Okay.
if we think that that would not be too much.
Sure.
And yeah.
All right, I like it. Would you like to be our lovely Midoriya? Since you picked this wonderful fic.
Sure, why not?
And then the other day you did look like a cute anime boy, so I really think that
I
you can pull that style off.
I do have anime hair every single time I wake up. If it falls through the day, but I for a second there, my dream has come true. Although Midoriya's hair is quite curly, I have more like Deku's hair, like just spiky, weaponized.
I love it. I will be Miss Yamato, I think. That way, when we have a conversation, we can have it with each other, not. That's
Sounds
his mom,
good.
right?
Mm, sure. I
Golly,
don't remember.
this is your show.
I told you it's this is why I said I've been on a hiatus. I was binging. You lose some details. You just enjoy the plot.
I see. I see.
Is the
Okay.
I have the first line? I have the first line?
Yes. Oh, and that's a good idea. As we go, so we'll just start like, section by section, and when we come upon a new character, we can just take a pause and then assign from then on. Sound good?
Sound good.
All right, and readers, or audience, if you want to read along, again, that link is in the description.
Yes, yes, please. Although I think we already missed a couple the and ands, so don't read too closely.
Yeah, okay, yeah, actually, don't read that close. Read, but not that close.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Never been more ready.
Chapter 1. Excuse me? Excuse me?
It takes a while for the woman to notice him, and even longer for her to look up. She's sitting cross-legged on the park bench, curled in on herself as she rocks and weeps. And she's been sitting and rocking and weeping since Izuku first arrived 10 minutes ago. He can feel a painful pressure in his throat, just looking at her, and his eyes sting. He forces the feeling back. It's hard not to cry when other people are crying. This woman's been sobbing her heart out while Izuku waited for everyone within hearing range for her to leave.
He wishes he could say he was surprised, but 3 days ago, a supervillain was in the area. Heroes from a local agency took him down, but not before he took down a few buildings with him. The damage still lingers.
Finally, slowly, she raises her head. Were you talking to me? She says quietly.
Zuko manages a smile. Yes, he says. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Not now when there's no one close enough to hear. Sorry to bother you. If you want me to leave.
Her hand closes around his wrist, and Izuku manages to keep still and calm instead of startling. She can't help it. He knows she can't, but once in a while he still spooks. No, she says. Please don't go.
Zuko sits beside her gingerly. It's okay, he says. "Oh, what's your name? I'm Midoriya."
After a moment, she whispers, Yamato. Yamamoto. Yamamoto. Yep. Yamamoto. I'm so sorry. Please, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Scene.
See. I'm sorry. Yamamoto. Yamamoto. Okay. Moto.
Moto Mojo.
I think Moto likes you. I just like tripped over my words. That's not like I didn't. It's really not that difficult to say. I just tripped.
It's nice to meet you, Miss Yamamoto. She's still holding his wrist. Did you need help with something?
Yes, she chokes out, and the sob isn't just fear and sorrow. There's relief in it too.
What is it? Izuku asks gently, always gently. What can I help you with?
With her free hand, she wipes in vain at the tears coursing down her face. I'm trying. I can't remember. Why can't I remember?
It's okay, Miss Yamamoto, he repeats. It's okay. Nothing is going to hurt you. Just breathe. It's an absurd thing to tell her, but he can't think of anything else, and going through the motions of inhaling and exhaling seems to calm her anyway.
Just gotta get those sound effects in, uh, I, Miss Yamamoto sniffles. It was something important.
Do you need to tell someone something? Izuku asks.
No, not really. I don't have anyone to tell. There's no one.
Okay. Do you need to find something?
Yes! She pauses. Her cold grip on his wrist tightens. Or maybe...
Did you lose something? Izuku presses. Did you leave something somewhere?
Yes. Her voice grates oddly in his ears, sending chills up his spine, but she's smiling through her tears. Yes. That was it. I left.
Was it at home? At work? Where did you leave it?
Home, Miss Yamamoto says. Home. Take me home.
Izuku nods and smiles at her in what he hopes is a reassuring way. Tell me where.
She takes him to an apartment building only a few blocks away. She lives on the 5th floor, she says, and takes the elevator up and down every day. Izuku bypasses it and takes the stairs instead. Okay, question though. I have a question.
Yes.
What if, hear me out, it was a serial killer ghost? And what if they just died from the effects of serial killing, and then their ghost is like, oh, I'm still hungry for, blood. So okay.
I'm just gonna pretend to be a old lady who needs help.
Well, is she old? I have no idea. Do we Google image what she is?
I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't think it's his mom.
Well, not anymore.
I think I think it's because of the memory loss thing. Even though that might not be the character, she may have hit her head or had someone use someone's quirk on her. But it was so sweet how he was just being slow and calm. It just made me think of Midoriya talking to an older character.
She is a character.
A tribute child
in the show. No, she's like a badass woman. From what I can tell. That's all I got. She was not the mother like I thought she was. That's okay. Anyway, my curiosity satiated. Sorry, audience, you'll have to look it up on your own.
Oh, I looked it up and I got 7 different characters popping up.
Right. Well, to the mystery of it all.
The
mysterious dead lady, potentially serial killer, leading her next victim even in death.
Sure. Well, we'll never know, or maybe we will. Continues.
As it shall. She takes him to an apartment, but only a few blocks away. She lives on the 5th floor, she says, and takes the elevator up and down every day. Izuku bypasses it and takes the stairs instead.
I'd also like to say Izuku taking the stairs instead is like, let me just fly with green lightning behind my legs as I casually go upstairs to help this woman, as if elevators don't normally have room for a person and a child.
Let me just flex on this scrub that I can walk upstairs, and you have to float.
You gotta take an elevator, bruh.
Weak.
Hit up the gym.
God, get some gains, bro.
Continues.
Being passed on is an excuse. Follow your dreams.
Aging? I don't know her. Boy, you're 12. There's no convenient spare key hiding under a doormat, which is a minor hiccup for Izuku. He knocks, just to be sure, but when no one answers, he checks over his shoulder for a witness or security cameras. When none appear, he picks the lock and enters. Oh, I totally thought he was just gonna break down this door
with his thunder thighs.
I mean, yeah.
This 12-year-old's just ripped.
I thought he was gonna be like, Dallas smash.
Dallas smash. Just I'm imagining this a complete like rear back and a thunk from a door, as if he was doing a squat against the door, just like.
It bursts open. But no, he picks
maybe if
the
you
lock.
took the stairs, you could also be like me and bust down doors with your thighs.
I wonder, and Midoriya is so sweet. I wonder, is this the internal monologue that really happens?
Wait, can we turn him into a gym rat? Like,
I mean, he does work out like every day. All the anime
right.
characters really do. They do. They train every day.
I do remember, because it's like, in order to get
Actually, on
All
a
Might's
beach.
power, in order to get All Might's power, he had to be like really, really fit in order to like be strong enough to.
All Might was like, you better move this like 100 tons of garbage to an 11-year-old, and it happened.
I mean,
I don't know his real age.
Midoriya
don't quote me on
was
that.
a gym rat. Changed my mind.
I mean, yeah, but he
was
picks the
probably
lock
a
instead.
Powder huffer, sniffer, snorter, powder
Oh,
sniffer,
God.
snorter. Or wait, I should say protein powder snorter.
I too snort my protein powder.
I too snort my protein in order to fuel my massive thunder thighs that I use to break down ghost women's doors.
And then flex.
Maybe one day you'll be like me, lady.
Maybe. Do you want me to keep going?
Oh yeah,
I can
take it
keep
away,
going.
girl.
All right. He's only just closed the door behind him when he closed the door. Did the lady even come in?
Girl, she can float through. She's got to work
Maybe
on her
she is a
gains.
ghost.
Remember, her gains don't get stuck in the door like they do his.
He's only just closed the door behind him when there's a faint rhythmic jingling, accompanied by a high-pitched trill. Miss Yamamoto lets out a sob as a small, one-eyed cat comes trotting out of the apartment's hallway, yowling over the ringing of the bell on its collar. As Izuku watches, the cat threads its way around Miss Yamamoto's ankles and rubs with a loud purr. The woman's fingertips ghost over the cat's fur, barely touching it.
English class, inferring between the lines. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Because it's a cat.
Yeah. Izuku moves off and creeps through the empty apartment. It's not messy in any way, but it looks cluttered and lived in, and he can tell that Miss Yamamoto never had any roommates beside her cat. There's a daily calendar on the kitchen counter showing the page for 3 days ago. At the foot of the pantry is a cute little mat with the cat's food and water bowls on it. Both are empty, and Izuku winces. He fills them after hunting and poking through pantries to find cat food, and moments later, the cat comes trotting in and falls upon the bowls. Just absolutely trips and face plants. Izuku checks the tag on their collar. The cat's name is Mika. Oh, wait.
I
I left her. Can we say it at the same time to try and be like as echoey as possible? Okay. All right. 3, 2. I left her. That didn't. You know what? Let's move on. That didn't work out. That didn't work out. Anyway, take it away, Kelly. That didn't work out at all.
Izuku looks back on the sound of Miss Yamamoto's voice. The woman stands at the entrance to the kitchen, her hands wringing at her sides. I left her, she repeats. 3 days ago, when that man... the building fell. I wasn't fast enough. She could have... She flickers, like an old video. For a split second, blood runs down her face, and her neat clothes are ragged and scorched with dark, wet stains. And then Izuku blinks, and she's normal again. I left her.
You keep reading, and we'll get back on track with you read.
His eyes sting, and when he blinks, his vision is blurry. It wasn't your fault, he says softly.
She could have starved. Her eyes, or the blank sockets where her eyes would have been 3 days ago, turned to him. She would have died, but you helped me.
Izuku forces a shaky smile. Do you need anything else?
Make sure she's okay. Izuku blinks again, and Miss Yamamoto is beside him, stooping to stroke her cat. Can you do that?
Of course.
Miss Yamamoto smiles and stops crying. Izuku blinks one last time and opens his eyes to an empty kitchen with a purring cat at his feet.
She called it, folks!
Shit! Oh, shit! Kiel! That was scary for a second. I was like, whoa, where did her eyes go?
Yeah, her eyes, and like, she was like, oh, the building fell, and there was that man, and then, bump, blood starts going down her face for a second, and then disappears.
So
spooky.
It is spooky. That's good writing. Well done, Viper.
I really liked the imagery that was built by like the calendar on the table and like the little stuff around the room.
I like it.
Very tasteful.
It was very tasteful. I'm into it. I was very much like invested when it came down to her frickin' changing, shifting.
Yes,
glitching in the Matrix.
Can't believe that I totally, like you picked up this shows how much more supernatural writing you read than me, because you were like ghost vibes right away. Yeah. I just thought she was an old lady. I think she's just like a side character. This makes sense why we couldn't find her.
Yeah.
Because I totally saw multiple characters, and a couple of them I was like, this person very clearly would not have lost their memory. But, ghosts do. Can't really blame them for that.
I guess I will admit when I'm wrong. She wasn't a serial killer like I was definitely thinking she was.
I mean, you did jump from like old lady to serial killer ghost. 50% is pretty good in that. I totally thought she was gonna like attack him for a second, though. Not gonna lie.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. So this next like good chunk is in italics. So I'm guessing it's like maybe a flashback. Other than that, Callie, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I don't understand, his mother says, for at least the 5th time. Izuku sits quietly in her lap, brows knitted together in a thoughtful frown. His stomach feels tight and uncomfortable and heavy, and he's not old enough to know what word goes with the feeling. The x-rays do throw a wrench in the diagnosis. The doctor sighs.
Yeah.
Okay. That voice for the doctor brings me back to speech team in early high school, where one time it was the drugstore, and I didn't realize drugstore meant the same thing as like a Quick Trip
No, Callie.
or like a pharmacy. And I gave him a voice that sounded like that doctor. Oh, poor child. Sweet summer
Callie!
child.
How old were you?
Well, okay, it wasn't like, I knew it was probably like a grocery store or something, but it was called a drugstore, and I was like, I don't know what that is fully. I was like in middle school.
I was
You
gonna
skip
say
gaps.
this was 2 weeks ago.
No, not quite that sweet summer child. No, and it sounded like that. He was like, the X-rays do throw a wrench in your diagnosis, and not that that's even what drug lords sound like, but it was a colorful interpretation.
Thank you. Got to make an impression.
Your view of doctors.
It's true. Izuku lacks the extra toe joint that we would normally associate with quirklessness. Statistically, his lack of a quirk is highly unusual, but
The other doctor said it was practically impossible. Mom interrupts.
but it's time to face the facts. Don't interrupt me, woman.
that was not written there.
That wasn't written.
Not
That was
adding dialogue.
that was a little act of improv. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? The doctor continues patiently. Even if he does have a quirk, you can't register it if you don't know what it is.
What do you mean? Even he could just be a late bloomer.
With all due respect, Miss Midoriya. The doctor's eyes are full of sympathy. Oh, I'm sorry. With all due respect, Miss Midoriya. The doctor's eyes are full of sympathy. His 6th birthday has come and gone. It's long past the usual window with a quirk when a quirk would manifest. Mom sighs deeply, and the doctor leans forward. There's a possibility. It's rare, but some people are born with what we call invisible quirks.
Invisible quirks? The boy from the emergency ward echoes. He's a little older than Izuku, sitting over in the corner on a plastic chair where Mom left her purse, dripping water all over the floor. Izuku first saw him while having his height measured, and he'd introduced himself as Takada. That sounds kind of cool.
Izuku perks up hopefully. With certain people, their quirks are so obscure that they simply aren't noticeable, the doctor explains. Or their quirk can only be activated under extremely specific set of circumstances, such as people can't go through their entire lives without even noticing their own quirk, simply because those specific circumstances never occur, and there's no practical use for it. The doctor shrugs apologetically. That's the best explanation I can offer. Sounds like a bunch of pseudoscience to me.
I think the Sixth Sense is pretty dang practical, sir. Izuku's face falls. Across the room, Takada blows a raspberry. That's lame, he remarks. That's almost as bad as having no quirk at all.
Shut up, kid.
I mean, is that not how you would haunt if you were a ghost child, Kate?
I mean, I guess if I was like a 5-year-old boy. Probably throwing a fart joke here and there, but maybe an elbow fart. Or wait, an armpit
You'd be like slipping little like whoopee cushions under people.
Oh, hell yeah. And then it's like a ghost whoopee cushion too, so people really are like, yeah, you farted. Why are you lying about it?
Yeah, there's literally nothing there. But Izuku would know.
Mom is quiet for a while, lips pursed. What if he sees things? She asks at length. Here, you go. You're the mom.
What if he sees things? She asks at length. There have been many times. I mean, he talks about people who aren't there. He'll talk to himself or stare at a wall for hours. When he was 3, he said something about his father tucking him in, and And Hishashi died just after he was born.
Miss Midoriya, the doctor says patiently. I know you're worried.
Kate
I'm
rubs
sorry.
her hands together. The doctor says patiently.
I know you're worried, and I know you want the best for your. What was my voice again? Wait.
I'm not sure. What was it?
I don't know.
I think a little more raspy.
I think there was a little more rasp. Miss Midoriya. There we go. Got it again. Okay. Mrs. Midoriya, the doctor says patiently. I know you're worried, and I know you want the best for your son and his dreams. But it's dangerous to nurse false hope. Children have a wild imaginations, and if you encourage them to see something when there's nothing, it may be harmful in the long run. If he does have an invisible quirk, then it will either show itself or it won't. He stands up, putting on a smile. In the meantime, being functionally quirkless will in no way prevent him from living a normal, happy life. He's in excellent health and well behaved on top of it. The doctor ruffles through Izuku's hair, but Izuku barely notices. He's too busy watching Takada roll his eyes. He gets up from his chair and strolls out of the room, lazily swatting the jar of tongue depressors as he passes. Okay, learned a new word.
This doctor is the type of person who's like, women, pain. Don't give yourself false hope that something might be wrong, but just you can live a normal and happy life. Excellent health.
As a scrub.
This is scrub.
This doctor, I don't know why I read him. He didn't do anything wrong, really. He even was sympathetic. I was just like, you know what I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for a middle-aged man that definitely has a podcast on the side. Not a good one.
Oh.
This poor doctor, he didn't do nothing wrong.
He's like, the science of toes and only toes. I promise it's exciting.
Wait, so are you saying this doctor has a foot fetish, or is that canon knowledge? Is that canon knowledge in like the whole foot joint thing? Is that canon?
I guess he does. It's not canon that I know of, but I guess he does look at a lot of images of feet, X-ray images, so it's very specific.
I like it.
The jar. The jar wobbles and tips over. The jar moved.
The doctor glances over his shoulder with a frown. Odd, he mutters and goes to turn it right side up again. Must be a draft in here.
Izuku stares at the jar and doesn't say a word for the rest of the doctor visit, even as his mom holds back tears, kisses him on the cheek, and takes him by the hand. He barely hears her, barely feels the gentle squeeze of her fingers as she leads him back out. He's too busy thinking, sifting through what he knows and what he thinks and what he remembers, piece by piece as it falls together.
No one else can see his friends. He knows that much. But it's the first time one of his friends has ever done something that someone else saw.
He saw Dad back when he was 3. He knows he did. He knows he didn't dream it because Mom remembers him telling her. But Dad was dead.
Takada was dripping wet, but the floor is dry. But Izuku saw him knock over the jar, and the doctor saw the jar fall, but didn't see Takada.
Izuku glances up as they pass through the hallway of the doctor's office. The hospital ward is close by, and Izuku looks around and sees...
Among the doctors and nurses and patients, people pass in stained hospital gowns, pale-faced and wandering, lost. One of them wanders close to Mom, calling for her husband, and Mom doesn't even turn her head. Izuku reaches out. His fingertips brush cold skin. The woman turns her tear-stained face to him, meets his eyes, and vomits blood. Ooh.
Izuku hides his face in his mother's side and cries. She doesn't see what he sees. She has no way of knowing that he's crying with fear. She thinks it's because he doesn't have a quirk, or because he has a quirk that's so useless that he might as well not have one.
He ought to be happy because he does have a quirk after all, and it's not a useless one. And when he's cried all his fears away, when they're safe at home, he'll tell his mother that she has nothing to be sorry about after all.
Aww.
Aw, that's so sad.
Hospitals would be absolutely freaky.
Yeah. I have to say, it's like Izuku hides his face and his mother sighed and cries. She doesn't see what he sees, and my brain goes to the TikTok audio. No one thinks what I think.
I know something that you don't know.
I know something you will never know.
No.
Yeah.
There's ghosts over here vomiting blood.
I bet you're sorry you're missing out on that.
Back to the present time.
Present time. Good. Thank you for that clarification. How
Yes,
much
we are
left is
out
there?
of italics. This is only chapter 1 too. This is like a full novel.
Yeah, seriously. It's 60 chapters, yo. I'm liking it so far. I have to say I do like it.
I do too. At first I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, like Midoriya seeing ghosts kind of vibe. But I love the way they eased into it, and then I love that that they're tying it into the quirk world as a quirk, that they're making it like a invisible quirk, and it's not just like in this world of quirks he sees the dead. They're like, nah, this is his quirk, and I like that. I don't know why, it just sets right.
And AU, if you will, alternate universe in the fan fiction dialogue. But
yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Present day. He leaves the collar on when he takes Mika to the cat. He kept the cat. To the no-kill shelter he usually goes to for this. Wow. All right.
That's happened quite often to him.
Yeah. They'll call the number on the tags to do their homework and find out that the cat's owner has passed away. She's a cute cat, even with her left eye missing. She's friendly and loving, white with gray and orange patchwork fur, and a trilling purr. Purr. She has good chance of being adopted, and then she'll never have to be hungry by herself again.
She'll be hungry with others. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Took a second.
You'll never go hungry again.
He gives the woman behind the counter a cell phone number, just in case. The whole
Hit me up,
incident,
girl.
in case you want to know where all the cats and the ghosts are.
You want to... Wait, what?
Yeah.
Whenever you hear lightning, just think of these thunder thighs.
These thunder thighs. You can see Kate is a real, like, smooth winner at the bars.
Yeah. Everyone is just can't help themselves at my dad jokes.
But they are the comedy club.
They are. I mean, yeah. It got me the person I'm dating right now, so I mean, we were talking, and they were like, I don't think you've ever flirted with me. I'm like, excuse me? All of my jokes that I tell you don't woo you?
My dad jokes, 100% flirting. How can you not tell?
Kidding? And I also found out that one of my love languages, you know how it's like, physical touch, hugs, or gift giving. Yeah, I found out actually one of my love languages is people reciting back my favorite memes to me.
They should add it to the book.
Yeah, write that down.
If I take a quiz online, I want to see this come back as your answer.
Because it's like, I was like, Vanessa. My partner started telling me Vanessa memes, and I was about ready to cry. I'm like, oh my God, you do love me.
True love. Vanessa memes.
But Vanessa.
Modern day Hitch.
What is
Just recite her favorite Vanessa memes.
Oh my god, do you have a favorite Vanessa meme? I've heard so many.
No, I love the one you used in your TikTok that
Oh,
you
no.
were like embarrassed to put out there because you didn't do any visuals with it really because you knew that might go just a little too far. It was spicy content for
Okay, well, don't say that on the but it's not it wasn't actually spicy.
It wasn't actually spicy content. It was like a mild it was like a mild sauce that was labeled spicy.
Yeah, it was like mildly suggestive. That's like Midwestern spice,
mayonnaise.
when Midwesterners are like, that's a spicy.
It was really just an innuendo.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
but
all
yeah,
it was. Don't worry.
it's like,
Just a
but
good
Vanessa,
child of
my, it was like,
Vanessa.
but Vanessa, my big booty, sounded off, alerted the bots of my location. It was stupid. But yeah, and then after
It's a good
that,
time.
good stuff. Love me a Vanessa meme. Cal, since you only had like that one sentence, do you want to take the next paragraph?
Yes. The whole incident makes him late getting home, but not late enough to miss dinner. Mom is still busy in the kitchen, so Izuku parks himself in front of the TV and turns it on. The volume is as high as they dare to keep it without disturbing the neighbors. It always is. It drowns out the strange whispering in the pipes, the odd door that slams on its own, and the myriad of noises that could be written off as the house settling if they weren't so frequent. Izuku flips the channels listlessly until coming to rest on one he's looking for.
Kelly, I have to tell you.
What? The fear that I just pronounced something way, way wrong.
No. So you know how it says the house settling? It makes me think back to when I first moved to our town. And it's a new house that I hadn't been, like, it's a new house, and I was younger. I wasn't young, but I was younger. Well, yeah, I was young. I was a child. But
what even counts as young anymore?
It's just a number. I hate that. But I essentially was terrified of going down in the basement, and when the house was settling, I told my mom to call a priest to bless the house. I was like, I think it's haunted.
This just shows a part of how you grew up. You didn't call the police thinking maybe something was happening or someone was around. You were immediately, this place needs an exorcism.
Mom, this
Call
house
the
needs
priest.
blessed. I don't want to be alone in the basement of this house.
I do remember everyone's stories was about their creepy houses or laundry machines that would light up in the middle of the night and it looks like red eyes out from the other room. But you did have quite a few.
I did.
You had quite a few stories.
I did. And
it was a nice little house too. But
it's literally fine. It's a cute
when you're
house.
Just hanging out watching Black Butler by yourself in the basement.
Oh my God. That's right. I think I have to be honest. I think I was so sister shook. I'm so nervous. I think I blacked out all those memories. I just remember being like, Mom, I'm pretty sure the house is haunted. Call a priest. And my mom's like, well, and you know what? Bless her heart. She didn't be like, Caitlin, shut up. She was just very much like, well, Caitlin, I think. She was really sweet about it.
She's
but
like, take some salt rocks and put them in the corners. It'll be good enough, honey.
Yeah, that was just in my room, though. We didn't put that in the entire house.
Did your mom actually help you put those in your room?
Yeah. It was my aunt, my southern aunt, she was the one who was like, if Caitlin keeps having bad dreams, just put salt in 4 corners of her room. And I, yeah, that was and it took away the bad dreams, so.
Who needs a priest? You just need to get yourself a nice Southern Belle aunt, and she'll just scare away all the ghosts instead.
Yeah, it's when you can't get a priest, salt works just fine, too.
It'll be good enough, honey.
The jingle of faux ethereal music signals the end of the commercial break, accompanied by a round of applause from the studio audience as a host of the show strides out on stage. His outfit is nothing short of gaudy, a spangled silver waistcoat over a pressed white shirt and bright blue slacks. Rounding off the ensemble is a bolo tie, for heaven's sake, with a decorative half-moon clasp. Ooh, I like that. The announcer introduces the flashy host with a moniker that makes Izuku cringe with secondhand embarrassment and purge it immediately from his memory. What's a moniker?
I don't know.
8th grade English, infer. What?
The announcer introduces the flashy host with a moniker that makes Izuku like a inferring, it seems like, with a grand gesture.
So it says a moniker is a name or a nickname. So why not just say that it was a nickname, like, what's up, shorty?
Yeah, that's what I say to people with bolo ties.
Yeah. Sup, playa?
God.
Sorry. Continue. Honestly, it makes him secondhand embarrassment purge. So
probably true. So the announcer introduces the flashy host with a moniker. Sup, shorty? That makes Izuku cringe with secondhand embarrassment. Yeah, it seems about right.
Yeah. Howdy, playa.
Howdy, playa.
Wait, I love it. Super different vibes.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
One's a cowboy, one's a city slicker.
Right, I think it's something about the pressed white shirt and bright blue slacks that makes me think whoever's announcing him would do it as a cringy cowboy.
Yeah, also, I said that and held up the peace sign, like, which adds another element of just, like,
we don't know what aesthetic is happening.
Pick a vibe for your set. Choose one.
As we're reading a fan fiction about anime, there's even more aesthetics thrown in there.
But Your Honor.
There's a lot of sound effects, wild gesticulations, and grandiose announcements in an amplified voice that drags out every vowel. Audience members approach the stage for a chance to be on TV for 15 minutes, and the garnishly dressed show host proceeds to exorcise demons from one, making contact with another's deceased husband and cure another of their reoccurring nightmares. At one point, he swoons, staggering with the effort of using his quirk. One audience participant is reduced to tears when the host holds an emotional, one-sided conversation with her twin sister who died as a child.
The stage is empty, but for the host and the crying woman. He's talking to thin air. He's been talking to thin air for as long as Izuku has been watching.
I don't understand how you can watch things like this. His mother pauses at the doorway and steps in to stand beside where Izuku is sitting. She leans on the back of the couch and sighs, shaking her head in disapproval. Who greenlit this show, I wonder?
Do you want to keep reading for Izuku? Zuko?
I think it might go back and forth between those two. So, do you want Mom or Izuku?
I'll be Mom.
Okay. Why do you think people do this? Izuku asks. He's not really expecting an answer or looking for one. Just make stuff up like this and pass it off as real?
His mother sighs again. I think maybe it's because, even in a world like ours, there are still impossible things. Or things that everyone thinks is impossible. She drops a kiss. She drops a kiss. She drops a kiss on the top of his head. Even if they may be wrong, as long as there are impossible things, there will be people who want them to be real. She snorts a little then.
Me too.
as long as people want something, there will be others who want to make easy money.
But it's not impossible, Izuku says quietly. His throat feels tight. In a world we live in we can't even know what is possible is impossible is. He waves a hand vaguely at the screen. It's just because of stuff like this, everybody thinks it's a big joke.
He's still staring at the screen, watching the gaudy spectacle of the show, but he can feel his mother's eyes on him. He knows she worries. I know, Izuku, she says at length. And of course it's not impossible. You're proof of that, aren't you? And one day people will know that. I may not know much about ghosts, but if anyone can find a way, it's you. Another kiss, and Izuku smiles again. Manages a smile. I'm making things up. Thank you for your lucky star. Thank your lucky stars.
Your lucky stars.
Oh, my stars. Okay.
Oh, my stars.
Thank you. Thank your lucky stars. You've got your mother's brains. Don't worry about that, about con men like that. Your quirk is your own and nobody else's. Thanks, Mom.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if it was any good for hero work, Izuku mutters. And even if it was, I'm still quirkless on paper, so no school's gonna want me.
Boy, you ever heard of Ghostbusters?
Oh, we know. You don't even need to go to school. We got you a job.
Dude, don't even stress, bro. Hey, Mom touches the side of his face gently. He looks up at her automatically, and his heart sinks a little at the pity in her face. I'm sorry, Izuku. I know it's not what you wanted, but, you don't have to be a pro hero to help people. You help people that heroes don't even know need help, she smiles again. And I think that's really cool, don't you?
Izuku changes the channel. When he doesn't reply, his mother finally leaves the room. His hand is a fist, almost painfully tight around his pencil as he tries to turn back to his homework. In spite of Mom's encouragement, the show has left him with a gross feeling in the pit of his stomach. It really isn't fair. It's like crying wolf, only everyone else has done the crying, and now that there really is a wolf in his hands, he's at a loss for what to do with it.
Hoping to lift his mood again, Izuku turns to the news and sees if he can catch any superhero reports. There's not much. At some point during the afternoon, Kamui Woods stopped the corner store holdup. But beyond that, it's been a quiet day. Izuku's interest wanes, and he finally turns his attention to school assignments, while the news reports drone on in the background.
He's nearly done with his math homework for the day when the reporter fizzles out. At first he doesn't notice, but then the static blares, and his pencil jerks and scores a dark line on the paper. Grumbling to himself, he shoots the TV a scowl. The screen blinks, black, then static. The whiteness falters and shorts out, and for a split second it looks like the picture might be coming back. Or a picture, anyway. It doesn't look much like the news. It looks like a video of an empty room. But it blinks out too rapidly for Izuku to tell for sure. As he watches, the image breaks up and gives way to a static one once more.
Oh dear, Mom mutters as she passes through the room again. She picks up the remote and tries to change the channel, to no avail, before handing it to Izuku. This is the third time this week.
The static gives a violent jerk. As Izuku watches, a pale hand emerges from the screen, claw-like and grasping at empty air. The hand reaches down to the floor, nails scraping for purchase, and a head comes out next. Black hair, tangled and stringy, spills from the white static, followed by shoulders, another groping hand, and finally the pale apparition claws its way out of the screen and onto the living room floor.
Well, let me know if anything changes, Mom sighs. Dinner's almost ready.
Okay, Izuku says. The corpse-like figure drags itself across the carpet, face shrouded in dark hair. Izuku finishes the last math problem. His mother leaves the room.
The apparition grabs his ankle.
I'm pretty sure that's bad for the TV, Izuku says, twitching his foot. Her hand... Yeah, yes. Oh, her hand, the apparition. Hand feels cold even through his sock.
The noise she makes in response sounds nothing like any noise a little girl of 8 or 9 ought to make, but she does it. Oh. But it does sound strikingly familiar to the TV static. As if to prove him wrong, the screen blinks again, and the news is back.
TV's okay, Mom, he calls towards the kitchen.
Oh, good. You two play nice now. What?
The couch cushion doesn't dip when the pale ghost sits beside him, but her dark, damp hair does get in the way when she leans over to look at his homework. Izuku scoots over, positioning himself so that he has room to work and she has a better view of it. It's pretty boring, Rai, he says, a little apologetically. Just math.
More ghostly rattling. Izuku has never heard her speak for as long as he's known her, and she's almost as an old friend as Bakugo was. That's all right, though. She doesn't need to talk to make him feel less lonely. So it's a friend. That spooky, spooky ghost girl's a friend. I left a kudos.
I will also leave a kudos.
Yep.
Because it deserves it. It's so good. I really enjoyed that.
Kudos your writers. Tip your waiters.
Kudos your writers.
Kudos your
Yes.
writers.
No, I love this. It's a really enticing story. I want to know more. We got characters. We got plot. We got, good writing of the atmosphere.
I like it. Well done. Let's see. Pit Viper of Doom. Well done. This is. I do want to read this. I'm curious to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Good setup for a first chapter.
It really is. Yeah. Definitely. Kudos and snaps from afar.
Snaps. Are there any relationships in this one? I'm just looking.
I gotta
dating. Is there any ships in
ration
here?
up.
Does not look like. No slash fic.
Just lots of friendship. The
just
power
lots
of friendship.
The power of it. Love
power of it. Yeah, really enjoying that. I went back to our video chat though, and I realized my face has gotten bright red like a tomato. Somehow.
What did you do? Are you allergic to something you're drinking right now?
I shouldn't be. Not that I know of.
I mean, maybe we were laughing so much.
We'll blame it on the laughing.
I have no idea though, because you are quite red.
My hands are so pink.
Goodness gracious, are you all right?
Maybe I got bashful.
Maybe got bashful, got shy.
Ghosts.
Got a little nervous, got a little spooked.
A little spooked, yeah. No, then I'd get all pale. I'd get spooked, but...
A little spooked, yeah.
Pale. A little spooky spooked.
A little
Spookity
scary.
Pit Viper of Doom, nice job.
Yeah, thank you, Pit Viper. Again, definitely check them out. We'll have some sort of link to them. Don't know what we're gonna all do, but again, Yesterday Upon the Stair by Pit Viper of Doom. Well done.
On Archive of Our Own.
Thank you, Callie. You're getting it. Love Archive. Well, that pretty much concludes this idea of our first episode. I'm really proud of us. We finally did it. And I was thinking, Callie, next week, how about you pick the fanfic? And we'll see what we come up with.
Okay. Yes. So you'll give me the genre or the subject, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go back to some roots. We both are Harry Potter fans, I think, and also there's so much fan fiction out there. There is so much. Sure, we'll find something.
Yes.
Yeah. So Harry Potter, you let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Thank you. If you are out there listening and enjoying the banter that be, thank you for being here.
And have a spooky night. Callie, let's do like an outro sound. The one that we did in the beginning. Okay. And that'll be all, everyone. Boop 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 boop.
Boop boop boop.